pretty little node. Can I touch this well? Can I touch your chest? Okay, good, baby. Let me know, you ruined monster. I'm gonna just attack this person just for the, what the heck? That is so fucking weird, dude. So find a clue that may lead you to the whereabouts of the ooze, or it's OZE, so I don't think it's ooze. It's kind of interesting though. So the combat is strictly action combat, like something similar to Devil May Cry. If you've never played that game before, but and there are combos in this game, but really what it is just a mix of different keybinds to use your abilities, and as long as you chain them in a good order, it's considered a combo. And combos aren't as important in PvP, but they help because then you can stack enemies and get lots of kills with it. Kill a bunch of enemies really quickly, or you can just be a warrior and hit it, and then when he's ready to hit you, press Q, and you block the damage. And Q also, as warrior, quite literally cancels every attack slash animation you have. Okay, there's really too many of these guys now. Oh, he's broken. Yeah, an unfortunate side effect of these servers is that all I've noticed so far is there are some monsters that just don't take damage, and I don't know how to fix that. It's probably just the server, because I've played on the normal servers, the non-season ones, like in the past, and there's quite literally no, like I've never run into a monster that doesn't just take damage, you know. Most monsters, you can be killed. They aren't busted and just set pieces on accident. So if anyone's interested in playing this game, it's $10. It's not very expensive, but you just buy it to play it. Everyone says, a lot of people say the game's pay to win. I guess if you consider like pets, and pets are useful, but you can buy them without real money. You can use in-game cash through the Central Market, plus you get like a few throughout the main quest. I have 2 right now. And the combat in this game requires me to focus quite a bit because, like I said, it's just like specific keybinds in the combination order and there are only certain moves that you can do in the middle of the combination or after a certain attack, and learning that's kind of important to the rest of the game because PvP is quite literally the end game. And if you don't know any of your combinations or any of your abilities, then I don't know how you're supposed to win this game. I don't know how you're supposed to PvP at all, actually. Okay. I take damage because enemies just find me. Oh, what the hell is that? Okay, that guy just spawned in, I think, and he's broken. So sometimes when you're trying to like do the next quest, it's best just to spam because you are more likely than not gonna get hit with an attack of sorts. And usually I just ignore the guideline because it can be quite stupid. Sometimes it just straight up like doesn't work. I don't think I can grapple a tree spirit, can I? Nope. Too big. Anyways, so the way classes work in this game, each class is, I guess I should say gender / race based. There's no like race or gender option in the customization. There's just female counterparts to most of the classes in the game, and sometimes the female counterparts have slight variations to their kit compared to the male version. So yeah, it's a fairly good game. But essentially, Warrior, his counterpart is a Valkyrie. She's the female version, essentially the same thing, just get boobs instead. I don't know. I don't know if there's really anything different. They use the same weapons that I'm aware of. I think their awakening weapon is different though, because the male version is like a great sword, which awakening is what happens when you hit level 56. Essentially it's the progression, and you get 2 weapons that you can switch to mid-combo to do devastating damage. And it's all skill-based and really good. So, yeah. Right now I'm only level 45, so I've got quite a bit to go before I hit 56. All these enemies are fairly easy to kill though, because my AP is fairly high, which AP is this stat here. It's attack damage, and defense is just defense. Then there's other things like accuracy and evasion, which evasion is the better substat. So there'd be like AP and then either accuracy or evasion. Evasion's the better substat because essentially when it comes to scaling and leveling up these weapons, the accuracy numbers will be higher, or not the accuracy, the my brain sometimes just doesn't work. The evasion numbers will be much higher, creating a pretty much more damage over time and all that other, like, essentially making it so you can evade attacks better. Like, you're less likely to be hit when you're evading. Only downsides to this game is that a lot of your DPS and damage done is determined by like how many frames you have, like frames per second. And this game may not exactly be the prettiest, but it is quite big. No loading screens, except for you loading into the game. And when it comes down to PvP, you're very likely to drop frames. Unless you have a beast of a computer. The optimal frames per second for PvP is 144. You want to try to be getting 144 as much as possible. And if you can just keep 144 all the time or higher, great. If you somehow get 240 FPS, which it's possible, but I don't know how, in what world you'd be able to do that. You will be quite literally the highest DPS person in the game. So there's really no limit to this game and what you can do. Sorry, I smell something burning. Just looking around, but so there's quite literally no limit to what you can do in this game. And it all comes down to how much skill you have and how much you're willing to learn. By the way, if you get knocked down like that, space bar helps you get up quicker. And most attacks are fairly easy to block as long as you move out of the way. Or again, with like a knight and other classes, you can actually just straight up block damage. And Knight is a fairly easy basic class that you can learn. So, recommend the starting class, but essentially this game is going to be really grindy, so I recommend trying every class and finding what you would enjoy the most. There's really no bad class, just some classes excel better at other things than others. For example, a knight, as I said, a pretty versatile class, kind of like a middleman, very adaptable. They have a good mix of attack and defense, which means that they're not going to die as quickly as something like a ninja. A ninja has really high attack, and ninjas will inevitably scale better when it comes to their damage, and a good ninja will be able to avoid your attacks. However, if he's not a good ninja, he won't dodge your attacks and he'll get stun locked, or he'll get stunned and then just be killed. Because stunning somebody, especially someone like a ninja, means you'll kill them a lot quicker. So the way PvP kind of goes about is that the entire time you're attempting to bait out a stun so you can block it or dodge it or something and try to stun them, and then you go in for a big combo, and you don't want to mess up your combo. It really sucks if you do that. And you can win with someone, you can beat someone with higher gear than yours if you're good enough at hitting your stuns and landing your combos, but the likelihood of you actually winning in that situation is very low. Because someone with higher gear usually means someone who's fairly good at the game. They'll block your stun, and even if you stun them once, you won't be able to do enough damage to instantly kill them, which means you're probably going to get stunned and killed. So, and sometimes and that's just kind of like a one-on-one PvP or 2v1 or whatever. In team PvP, there's going to be large group fights, and essentially what's going to happen is you'll probably just be throwing your combo out as much as possible, because all attacks are kind of AoE based. You can attack more than one target at once essentially, as long as they're close enough. And so there are obvious like attacks, or there are attacks that will have bigger AoE range compared to others based on what class. And that's all stuff that you'll figure out. Like, I mean, a wizard, come on, like big AoE damage and lots of damage. Wizards are a good class to play because they're a quick grind since you do so much AoE damage. Oh, got a daily. And
my daughter, Osa. If only I could bring her back.
They're just quite easy to play.
My life belongs to the Lord.
And they're good in PvP as long as you know what you're doing.
It will all disappear one day.
Using Invisi frames and animation canceling and just doing lots of damage. Animation canceling is something that's quite easy to do. It's not needed though, you can play quite well. It'll boost your damage though slightly, so I recommend it. However, this game, I don't know, it depends on what kind of person you are, but me personally, this game isn't a game that like I play all day every day. It's something that I'll like play for. It's one of those games that you can essentially AFK do stuff in. Life skilling's that thing. You can AFK and life skill, which is quite a smart idea. And you can AFK walk, like I'm doing right now. Essentially, when there's a path marked out, I press T, my character will walk to that direction. You can set your own path by essentially opening up the map and just right-clicking anywhere. Oh, and now I'm drowning. Never mind, I'm fine. So it's quite a bit of fun. Okay, this is quite annoying, so I'm going to stand on the path. If your thing gets weird like that, just do that. Right click it twice, because it'll disable and re-enable the tracking, and that's how it fixes. Unfortunately, sometimes the pathing's a bit busted and you can get stuck on things. That's why I don't recommend, like, if you're walking around in an area that you know is like a small kind of city or whatnot, don't AFK and leave, because you'll probably end up come back and you're like stuck on a wall and you're just walking into the wall or something, or walking into a ledge. It's quite unfortunate. Anyways, this game's lots of fun. I recommend it. And there's gonna be footage of me continuing to just quest right now, because I highly recommend, if you've never played the game before and you just got it, or you just want an easy time leveling up and just going along with things, just do the quest, trust me. You're going to want to just play the game, because it's a pain in the ass to just kind of go along, and you're not gonna have any clue on how to you won't know where to grind if you're brand new. You won't know where to start, and because you're gonna have to buy gear, essentially. You're gonna have to go out, and as soon as you get to the first main city, which is it's not Velia, the other one, you'll be like level 20 or something by the time you get there. I think it's actually like between level 17 and 22 you'll be in there. You have to buy a specific armor set, which is going to cost silver. It's not a crap load of silver, but it'll add up, and you can get the silver fairly easily just by AFK life skilling, like fishing. I recommend fishing. And if you're able to discard green fish, because you're going to want to sell the blue shit and anything higher to the Imperial Fishing vendor in Velia, or Imperial Fishing Delivery guy, and it'll give you a decent amount of silver. And you can also dry it and sell it on the market, but the problem is the prices are they're dim-wittingly below. It's not worth it right now, at least with some of the fish, because some of the fish you're not. Some of them you're not making any profit, because there's so many people selling it, and so the price to put it in is quite costly, enough to essentially make you end up in a deficit of silver when you put something on the market. Yeah. So, I recommend not worrying, and unless you want to watch a YouTube video or you're an experienced player in the game, I would just do the story. Like I've played through the story. This is my second time, so probably after this. And this isn't a very efficient way, obviously. The level, it takes some time because you gotta travel to all these areas. Well, what you could do after you get your first character to like level 60 something, you can give them a set of essentially fairly good gear and help them, which is the recommended that you give your armor set, obviously not your weapons and shield, unless you have the same one, and give it to that person so that they can survive any of whatever they're fighting, you know? Anyways, so this game's lots of fun. It's fairly inexpensive, so if you got $10 to spare, just try it. It's lots of fun. And yeah. So we're coming near to the end of the main quest line, because I think level 50, maybe. I'm pretty sure it's level 50. Is the quite literal end to the main story. When it comes to story, anyways, you'll still get quests, essentially being like, oh, reach level 56 or something like that. Yeah. So.
Undivided loyalty for Parliament. Calpheon will prosper until the end of time.
Alright. That's the guy.
Well then, how are you planning to capture my attention?
Quite literally walking up and talking to you. It's not a very complicated feat. Anyone could do it. So, also levels in this game are essentially endless when it comes to how many skill points you can have.
You sure no one is following you? I trust you have exercised as much caution.
How high this level gets right here, which is just your main level. You can. I don't think there's a limit to energy, and you can increase that. Same thing with your max contribution points. You can increase that by essentially playing. There are specific ways to do it. I don't know them now. I'll tell you quite a bit that I end up having to go online to look at what the like how to increase this limit and increase that limit, and how to set up a worker system and all that. So, and yeah, there's an entire worker system where you send these guys to go work in fields and pick barley, wheat, stuff like that, send them into the mines to get minerals, and then you can sell the stuff, or you can use it to make stuff, which is what's recommended, because you're essentially turning everything you gathered into more money based on what you turned it into, right? And you can do that yourself through production. There's an entire there's a processing window. You can process stuff, and some of the processing requires that you be near a certain thing, which you'll buy. It's all good and dandy and fun. So anyways, highly recommended. Yeah, playing the story is a pretty quick way, or a pretty good way to level up to at least like 50. But there are ways where you can just do it in a couple hours by essentially hitting level 17 off the story and then going and getting that set of gear that I mentioned. That'll put you at like 100, I think it's like 130 AP, which means you can go to a level where monsters are around that. There's, if you look on the map, see, these guys have level recommendations, but there are other places like, I am not even near any of them. Why not? Like over here, recommended AP 260. That's how many AP it recommends you have. Same thing, 300. If you want to farm these locations, these are grind spots essentially, and that's a very important part of the game. You're gonna have to PvP people probably with those grind, or for those grind spots, because they're gonna want those grind spots. There's some other good ones. There's a world boss. Here's one recommended AP 210. Level 50 through 52, which probably means over 100 AP. Yeah. Over here, 100 to 180 AP. Grind spot to get better stuff. 80 to 100. All good and dandy.
Hold on. I'm in a really important part.
And if you're not sure about where you should grind, there are videos on it. Or
I would rather live with books instead.
you can quite literally just look it up. It's not hard. There's an interesting system from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., which time changes in the top right over here. Monsters are kind of stronger. They have increased AP. It's just an interesting system. I don't really know what purpose it serves. But essentially that's a way to die quicker, is go farm in a spot that you're not even close to the AP recommendation, and you will literally get killed. Just because now they no longer are 110, they are 120 or 130 or something like that. But as soon as 7 a.m. rolls around, they lose all that extra power. Or you can pop what's called an Atanus Firefly, which will mean any monster that attacks you doesn't get their special buff at night. So, really good.